Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, for the first, let me introduce myself. My name is Nanda Yusuf Hardiansyah, and then I'm a student of English Education Department 2 in 2019. Okay, today I will explain about three material in a syntax. There are head and complements, structure, ambiguities, and the last is more structure. For the first, I will explain this head and complements. Okay, so phrase structure trees also show relationship among elements in a sentence. For example, the subject and direct object of the sentence can be structurally defined, and the subject is the noun phrase that is close to or immediately dominated by the root s. And the another kind of relationship is that between the head of praise and its sister. The head of a praise is the word whose lexical category defines the type of praise, like the noun in a noun praise, the verb is in a verb praise, and so on. And then every phrasal categories then has a head of its same syntactic type. Noun phrase are headed by noun. Preposition phrase are headed by prepositions. Complements preposition by complementizer, and so on. And every phrasal head can have a complement which provides further information about the head. Like in a sentence, the death of Lincoln shocked the nation. The preposition of Lincoln is the complement to the head noun death. So each of these examples in the phrase, like noun phrase, adjective phrase, preposition phrase, verb phrase that contain in a head, like noun, adjective, preposition, and verb, followed by a complement or varying composition, such as complement phrase in the case of belief, or a noun phrase or and preposition phrase in the case of word, and so on. What had the sentence? So we said earlier that all phrase have heads. One category that we have not yet discussed in this regard is sentence S. Okay, for this structure tree, you can see a model such as may contains possibility as part of its meaning, and says it is possible that the event will occur at some future time. The category auxiliary is a natural category to head S, just as the verb phrase is about the situation described by the verb. Eat ice cream is about eating. So a sentence is about a situation or state of affairs that occur at some point in time. Well, like this structure tree, the first level is the XP itself. The second level is contains of a specifier which function as a modifier, and x, for example x bar, for example, and noun phrase specifier is a determiner. Verb phrase specifier is an adverb such as never or often. And then we will not use x bar convention in our description of syntax, except on the few occasions where the notation provides an insight into the syntax of the language. For sentence, we will generally use the more intuitive symbol as and aux instead of tense phrase and tense. Without the use of TP or tense phrase and T, so we need an additional PS rule to characterize structures containing aux, like verb phrase to auxiliary verb phrase. So like structure trees. The introduction of auxiliary into the system raises a question. Not all sentences seem to have auxiliaries. For example, the sentence "Sam kicked the soccer ball" has no modal have or be. There is, however, a time reference for this sentence, namely the past tense on the verb kick. Like this structure tree, the tense of the sentence it is had. Instead of having a word under the category auxiliary or tense, there is a tense specification, present or past. The inflection on the verb must match the tense in auxiliary. For example, if the tense of the sentence is past, then the verb must have an ed affix or must be an irregular past tense for verbs such as ate. Thus, in English and many other languages, the head of S may contain only an abstract tense specification and no actual word, as just illustrated. In addition to specifying the time reference of the sentence, auxiliary specifies the agreement features of the subject. For example, if the subject is we, auxiliary contains the feature for first person and plural. If the subject is he or she, auxiliary contains the features third person and singular. So another function of the syntactic rules is to use auxiliary as a matchmaker between the subject and the verb. Then the second material is structural ambiguities. As mentioned earlier, certain kinds of ambiguous sentences have more than one phrase structure tree, each corresponding to a different meaning. The sentence "the boy saw the man with the telescope" is structurally ambiguous. Its two meanings correspond to the following two phrase structure tree. One meaning of this sentence is "the boy used a telescope to see the man." The first phrase structure tree represent this meaning. The key element is the position of the preposition directly under the verb phrase. And notice that although the preposition is under verb phrase, so it is not a complement because phrasal categories don't take complements, only heads do. So because it is not selected by the verb, so the verb C select and noun phrase in this sentence, and the preposition has an adverbial function and modifies the verb. For the another meaning, the boy saw a man who had a telescope. So the preposition with the telescope occur under the direct object noun phrase where it modifies the noun man. So in this second meaning, the complement of the verb see is the entire noun praise, the man with the telescope. So the preposition praise in the first structure is generated by the rule for praise, to for praise, and a preposition praise. And in the second structure, the preposition praise is generated by the rule noun praise, to noun praise, and preposition praise. So two interpretations are possible because the rule of syntax permit different structures for the same linear order of words. So you can see of the several rules. Okay, for the last material is more structures. So many English sentence types are not accounted for by the praise structure rules given so far, including, for the first is the dog completely destroyed the house, and the second is the cat and the dog were friends, and the third is the cat is coy. Okay, for the first sentence is contain the adverb is completely. Adverbs are modifiers that can specify how an event happens, like quickly, slowly, and completely, or when it happens, like yesterday, tomorrow, often. So as modifiers, adverbs are sister to phrasal XP categories. So in sentence 1, the adverb is a sister to verb phrase, like this structure 3. And then for the second sentence is contains a coordinate structure. The cat and the dog. A coordinate structure result when two constituents of the same category, in this case two noun-phrase, are joined with a conjunction such as and, or, the word or. So the coordinate noun-phrase has the following structure tree, like this. And for the third sentence contains the main verb be followed by an adjective. The structure of main verb be sentences is best illustrated using T notation. The main verb be acts like the modals and the auxiliaries be and have. For example, it is moved to the beginning of the sentence in question, like is the cat coy. For this reason, we assume that the main verb be occurs under T and takes an XP complement. So the internal structure of the phrasal categories is universal. It consists of a head and its complements. The particular order of elements within the phrase is accounted for by the phrase structure rules of each language, like noun phrase, verb phrase, and so on, are headed by nouns, verb, and like the sentence like S or TP is headed by auxiliary or T, which carries such information as tense, agreement, or modality. Okay, I think that's a little my explanation about the three material. There are head and complements, structure, ambiguities, and more structure. So I do apologize for my many mistake in my explanation. And the last, thank you for your kind attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.